Hey guys, Brian with Cajun Cardboard coming at you from the great state of Louisiana with one of my Louisiana brethren. I can't tell you how I'm excited I am to bring on Langston Galloway, past, present, future NBA player. Langston, welcome to the channel. You're the first NBA player that's come on. Is this the greatest privilege that you've ever felt in your life?
No, for sure. To be on here with you, another great, Louisiana guy that, has always followed my career every single step of the way. So, I appreciate you having me on, and I'm excited to talk about, sports and everything.
We're going to tell stories. I've got a couple stories. The first story I'm going to tell is the first time I saw Langston Galloway. And you never heard this story. I never told you this story. So Langston and I know each other. We met maybe 7-8 years ago, right before you got to the league, I think, or maybe right after you got in over at a local gym here. You trained a little bit with one of my best friends, Jonathan Pixley, over at the Red Storm facility here in Baton Rouge. So we got a chance to meet, and I was the recruiting director for an EYBL team, Nike Team Louisiana. Yep. And obviously you were an NBA basketball player who really, really likes shoes. And I had access to a great quantity of shoes at the time. That was a whole nother lifetime for me. But at the time, I had access to tons of really cool shoes. And there were some special EYBL models that came out, the KD5s. I don't know if you remember them.
I remember.
And so we brokered a deal.
Still have them.
Yeah. You still have them? Okay. Keep those. Keep those. They're special. So so I handed you some shoes on the down low, right? Pixley knew, but nobody else knew because those were for our players. But I wanted you to have a pair. And then in return, I don't know if you remember this, you gave me a pair of your New York Knicks practice shorts, which I gave to my son, who was a ball player. So he was thrilled. So it was a win-win.
Yeah, for sure. Hey, quid pro quo. There you go.
And I got to further your sneaker addiction, which it sounds like has only grown since then.
It's definitely grown. It's getting a little outlandish now. So you gotta move some shoes sooner rather than later.
Are you one of those guys that's got like a separate like building to keep your shoes? Like, are you like PJ Tucker? You got a separate like a warehouse or some kind of special greenhouse?
Yeah, I have a storage. I haven't gotten into the housing perspective, but definitely outside living space for my shoes for sure.
I got it. Okay, make sure you have a guard out there 24/7, man. I know how valuable those things are. Make sure you got a guard.
Yeah.
You played did you play a couple weeks ago, or was it last week? Did you scrimmage against some LSU guys? Somebody said.
Yeah, this past weekend we got a chance to get up and down, and it was good. It was a good run, much needed for me. Just see where their guys are at, but then also see where my condition and everything like that is. So it was good. It was really good.
Yeah. Do you still have a passion to play pickup? Do you still look forward to it? I know it's a profession, it's a job, and maybe you've been desensitized to it. Do you have that burning desire? Like, I remember pickup basketball. I played college basketball, right? Low-level college basketball. I never lost the love to play pickup ball. I would always have preferred playing pickup ball to playing organized basketball. Is that still there for you? You still love going to play pickup with like random strangers?
Oh yeah. No, I'm always like trying to go in, and I don't want to say kill because I feel like I can do that anytime, anywhere, any place. But I normally try to go in with a perspective of, all right, I need to work on something specific that day. So like when we were playing pickup of the day. Just get my feet wet, like just playing again, getting up and down, get some shots up, but mostly like just everything I've been doing is like, all right, off the dribble, like shots, working on trying to get to the basket, like just small stuff. So that's why I'm always looking forward to like either playing 1-on-1, pick up something like 3-on-3, whatever I can do to kind of move, get some body contact, like trying to get by somebody, work on like moves and stuff like that. So that's why I really look forward to pickup because I'm like, all right, I got to try these moves out on somebody. Like I can't try it out on open air. I got to try it on somebody that can.
Yeah, cones don't help. Cones don't help, right? And you can't experiment in an NBA game or even an overseas game or a G League game. You need to experiment on some random dudes at the park or up in the gym. So I get it. There was a time where I used to experiment on people, but now people experiment on me because I can't move laterally at all. Okay, I can't move laterally. I got to stand in the corner and catch and shoot it. So I'm going to tell you the story when I first saw you. This was in 2006, and you don't know this story. For those of you who don't know, Langston played at a local high school here, great basketball tradition. Langston was a big part of it, Christian Life Academy. I walked into this gym, and when I say this is a Cracker Box gym, is that fair?
It's
Cracker Box
right.
gym. Yeah. So maybe, a couple hundred max, right? I know for a fact this night y'all were playing Southern Lab. Huge rivalry. District game. You were a freshman, okay? So you were probably pretty nervous that night. I remember you guys had Josh White. Josh White was the man.
Yep.
And then you were this little skinny kid. You were maybe 6 feet, maybe 5'11", but you looked like you were 6'8" because your arms and your feet were gigantic, right? Yep. And so I'm sitting up in the stands, and I didn't know this at the time, but I'm sitting next to legendary coach Don Green, who I'm sure you know, used to coach at Parkview. And I was like, hey, man, this team's pretty good. Who you here to watch? What do you think about Josh? You know, is he Division I? He's a little bitty guy. Is he a D1 kid? He's like, Coach, I'm not here to watch Josh White. I'm here to watch that kid right there. And I was like, who are you talking about? That kid right? He's like, yeah, he's a freshman. That kid's going to play in the NBA. And when he said that to me, I looked at him and I was like, okay, let me pay attention. And by the end of that game, I was like, yeah, if he gets a couple inches and a couple pounds, he's going to be a serious problem. But great high school team. Great high school program. Interesting high school coach you played for, right? I'm sure you got some great – I'm not going to ask you to tell any stories about Coach Foster, but was he an interesting coach to play for, to say the least?
You know what? He taught myself and all the guys that played for him a lot of life lessons that, you know, kind of translated into today's world, like how you think about, like, you know, there's not going to be – anything that you go through in life that's going to be harder than, you know, we used to run a lot. We used to do a lot of like diving on floors, trying to get loose balls, playing pickup. You know, we would just, everything that was in practice was like a correlation of life. Like he always kind of put that in perspective. And, you know, he had different methods, you know, to everything, but like it kind of like to see it translate to life now, like, you know, when we was in college and all that, it didn't translate. But like now, like as we get older, we're starting to see like, dang, like he was right. Like he said that, like, okay, wow, that's crazy. That came for tuition. Like, so real, you know, big kudos to him and everything that he taught us. You know, it's unfortunate, we know all the circumstances, but you know, to see all that he's done for us and especially my career, because I learned a lot from him. Like there was one instance, I'll give you one story real quick. I remember when I was in the 7th grade, and so I was trying out for the team. I'm like, hey, I'm gonna try out. I'm gonna see what happens. I ended up making the team. And no, actually, I lied. That was 8th grade team. Because 7th grade, I was just a water boy. 8th grade on the team, trying to make the team. I told him, like, look, I'm gonna try out, but you know, I'll make my decision if I want to go play football or not. Because I was playing football at the time, and end up making the team. Hardest, you know, basically tryout that I've ever had in my life. So I really, like, I told my dad, I came home one day crying after one of the days. I was like, I don't think I can do this. Like, I really want to quit. And he said, look, this is going to be the hardest thing you're going to go through. But, like, you get through it, like, it's going to make you even better as a player, a man, everything like that. And I remember him saying that. And, I made the team, ended up making the team, went ahead, played football. So I left the team all the way until about, I'll probably say, like, December. Came back to the team at the end, once football ended. And, you know, from then on, like, you know, I really, like, just enjoyed it at that point. But, like, at that moment, I was just like, yo, I didn't think I would want to play basketball anymore. But, it really, was like a full circle moment for me, for sure.
It's rare when your basketball practices are harder than your football practices, right?
Man.
So he was that kind of coach. I got a story because I coached a kid a little bit younger than you, played with our AAU program, went to BRCC, and your coach had since transitioned over to BRCC.
Yep.
He told me that preseason, before the season even started, he didn't think they were practicing hard enough. So he took all the kids, right, all the players on the team. He told his assistant coaches, lock those doors. They locked the doors to the gym, every single door to the gym. And then he pulled them all together. He said, fellas, we ain't leaving here till one of you punches somebody in the face. And it was like, no offense, but it was like, this is the only white kid in the gym. And so he's looking around. He's like, oh, man, I'm target number one. He's like, he was scared to death. His head was on a swivel. But that's the kind of coach you had in high school. He was tough and hard-nosed, to say the least. So
yeah, another good for story. Sure. I love him to death, man. I love him to death.
Yeah. So, Well, all right. So let's move on to college. And this is interesting. This is going to break some hearts because you left the great state of Louisiana. You left Baton Rouge to go to St. Joseph's. For those of you who don't know, absolutely at the top of the list in the history of St. Joseph's basketball. All A10 rookie team. I'm reading off your credentials. All A10 conference team multiple times. second time all-time leading scorer, total points scored behind Jameer Nelson, who was a fantastic NBA player before you. All-time three-point leader, all-time three-pointers made, all-time leader in the program in minutes played, which is maybe the most impressive one because St. Joseph's is an absolute A-10 powerhouse for decades. All-time free throw percentage leader, second in PER, which matters when you're taking that many threes, and the second best true shooting percentage in the history of the program, and the all-time best box score plus minus in the history of the program. That's a pretty nasty list. Did you think when you went up there that you were going to leave there as the man? Did you think that was in the wheelhouse? Did you know it, or were you just trying to survive?
No, I mean, being recruited by all the teams like LSU, Baylor, like a number of Texas A&M, like a number of SEC powerhouses that recruited me and Big 12 teams. Like it was crazy because I was like, all right, I wanted to go to LSU. Not gonna lie, I wanted to go to LSU, but circumstances just didn't work out. So ended up leaving. I'm like, all right, well, if I'm going anywhere, I'm gonna go somewhere where I'm comfortable. I know the situation. My uncle was actually assistant coach. Jeff Arnold was assistant coach there. Phil Martelli had just put two NBA stars in the NBA. So I was like, hey, look, I would love to have him coach me and really critique my game, get me better. And then I'm in Philly, like that's my home. That's my second home. Like that's everything. Like my mom was from Philly. Like every summer I would go up to Philly. I'd be playing in the rec leagues up there, playing against all the pros, like while I was in high school. So I was already, advanced for my age. So I was learning how to play against them, physicality, everything like that. So getting a chance to go up there, I knew that, I had a really good shot to be something special, but I didn't, at the time I just was like, hey, I'm just going up here just to play. At that time there was no like, hey, I'm gonna go 1 year and I'm going to the pros. That wasn't like in my mindset. I was just like, hey, look, I'm gonna go up here. Basketball works out and like I play well and do what I need to do. I feel like I can get to the NBA, but if it doesn't, I'm gonna take care of my education. I'm gonna get it right. Sure. So that was definitely the A and B plans.
So hypothetically, let's say your uncle takes a job at another school, or let's say your uncle gets out of coaching. Let's say Coach Phil decides to retire. What school was number 2 of your list? And I think your list, A&M recruited you, Baylor recruited you, LSU recruited you, Cincinnati, who was filthy at the time, recruited you, Oklahoma State and Stanford, which is no slouch. Who was number 2 on your list?
What's crazy? So I had I probably would have said Texas A&M probably would have been second. Them or Baylor, because Baylor, like that was, it was in the middle of nowhere. But I was really cool with Bryce Drew, like really close with him. And I mean, I can't even think of his name. It was at Texas A&M at the time.
Billy Kennedy? No,
it was he was at Maryland a few years ago. But
Sturgeon?
Mark Turgeon.
Mark Turgeon. Yeah, Mark Turgeon.
He was literally at every single practice. I don't know what was going on. Like they flew him over there like every other day or every so often. Like he would be at our practices. I'm like, Mark, what you doing? Like, Coach Turgeon, what are you doing? He's like, oh, I'm just coming to see you. Like, I want to check in, make sure I'm like. And then they used to send me like postage stamps with my head on it on the on the mail. I'm like, they doing it up. They really trying to get me. Like I said, Baylor was like huge. Cincinnati, like they really recruited me hard. I mean, I probably would have said either Texas A&M or Baylor. Like those were like really close, and it would have been close to home too. So,
you say close to home. I mean, Waco's not right next door. I mean, it's not Philly.
It's not right next door.
Yeah.
But it's close. It's in comparison. I mean, LSU like with them changing coaches, like that just wasn't like. And then it was a lot of scenarios that happened that I just didn't appreciate that happened while I was getting recruited by LSU. So that they had fell off the radar after they fired John Brady.
I got you. All right, enough of college. I mean, that's a wrap. Let's move on to the pros. So 2014, did you expect to get, I know you went undrafted, right? Did you expect to get drafted? Did you have any promises from teams? I know you probably worked out for tons of them. Did you think you were going to get the call or no?
It was a possibility. I had really good workouts with like Indiana, New York, Minnesota, like had really good workouts with them. Nobody promised anything, but they all said, hey, look, we might consider you in the second round. if it comes to it. And I was like, all right, cool. And then I think draft night, like Indiana might have texted my agent or called my agent and said, hey, look, we might think about taking him in the second round. I was like, all right, well, let's see what happens. And lo and behold, they end up trading a picking, or they picked a foreigner and then end up, it was it.
Stashed him.
Yep. Pick and stash.
Yeah.
So I was like, all right, cool. I was upset. My girlfriend, wife at the time, wife now.
Yeah.
She's like, hey, look, don't even worry about it. Like, we're going to refresh, get a start tomorrow and get back to it. And she's always been a very supportive person for me. My best friend, like, everything, my backbone for real. And she literally was just there for me. And we really just picked up all the pieces, and then, all right, we got to get back to work. And so literally the next day, like, I was back in the gym and just locked in on what I need to do now from here to get my opportunity.
Did you, and it sounds like you got a good one. Obviously, y'all been together a long time. That's a long time ago. So I'm in the same boat. When you find a good one, you keep them, man. You do whatever you got to do. You treat them like a queen. And I know she's not just your wife. She's your business partner.
She's
fair?
Everything. She's everything. Yeah, she's everything. Yeah.
We're going to talk about that later for sure. Yeah. So you didn't get drafted. Obviously, I know the way that works, correct me if I'm wrong, usually then you're jumping on a plane and you're still going to work out for teams or after the draft. No?
So basically how it works is you have your pre-draft. Once pre-draft's over, then basically everybody gets drafted or whatever the case may be. Then you get the call like, hey, look, we're going to sign you to training camp deal or something like that. Or not training camp, I'm sorry, summer league deals.
Okay.
But then you get ready for summer league. Summer league is the draft is the 23rd, so summer league is probably like a week or two after that.
2 weeks after, yeah.
Yeah, so like literally, like I got the call from New York. We made a decision. Me and my agent made a decision. Went ahead, flew to Vegas, met them, and then literally we had 2 days. 5 days up into the first game. I think was that Saturday. So got there on a Sunday, and then we was there for like 3 weeks. It was
intense.
It's just a grind. Like, that's the thing that people don't understand. Like, when you leave college, right? You finish the season, you start working out. Like, you have to go from playing with a high school, a college basketball, changing over to NBA basketball, which weighs a little bit more. The line a little longer, so you got to worry about that. I mean, most kids nowadays a little different. In my time, like, the line was the high school line, and then now you think about that big jump all the way to the NBA line. It's a huge difference. Yeah. But then you go from there to, all right, summer league. You're trying to figure out the pace. You're trying to figure out, everything's going on. And once you leave, like the first couple of days in practice, or whatever's going on for whatever team you're on, that depends on how the situation goes. Then you go to all right, let's start playing now. So you go from 2 days to playing, body's beat up, and you got to go play and then figure it all out, and you got to compete against other teams. It's a lot. It's a lot to it, but mentally you got to be ready, got to be prepared.
And summer league has become like celebrity. I mean, summer league is so different now than probably when you played. Now it's like, people can't wait to flip it on ESPN. Every single game is televised.
It's a showcase. Yeah, it's a showcase now. So basically, you're not just showcasing for yourself now. You're showcasing for all 39 teams and 30 teams, and you're showcasing for teams overseas. This and I mean, it's everything. It's everything.
Did you, for a second, think about an overseas option? I know you probably got calls. Your agent, I'm sure, got calls from overseas stuff. Did you ever consider making the jump across the pond, or were you dead set? I'm gonna get through this G League. I'm gonna get into the G League and work my way to the league.
No, it definitely crossed my mind. But I've my whole career, I've never been about chasing the money and nothing like that. I've always said, hey, look, I'm gonna chase my dream, which is making it to the NBA, and the process is what I enjoy the most. Like, just the work, putting in the work, being able to see the results, and then also like understanding like the journey is never going to be pretty. It's always going to be a lot of ups and downs. So it's a lot of like, horror stories within that journey. But hey, we made it to where we wanted to be.
I love it. From the beginning, I could tell you were a gym rat, man. I mean, I was the opposite. Like, I just wanted to turn the lights on when it's time to play pickup. I was all about playing pickup. I played 50 hours a week if you want. But when it comes to like getting in there and working out and one-on-one stuff and training, I was like, that's not for me. These weights are heavy, man. That's not for me. So, which is probably why you had the career you had, and I am a real estate attorney right now, right?
Yeah.
That amongst other reasons. Yeah. So, All right, so let's talk about the Knicks. I remember, so you signed a 10-day or a couple 10 days, which is, it's basically like, for those of you who don't know, it's essentially a little 10-day window tryout, right?
That's
I mean,
it.
every minute matters.
Yep.
The Knicks was the first place that you came on with. It sounds like you had a great workout with them pre-draft. You got summer league with them. So they had seen you enough to make a calculated decision. Hey, we think Langston's the guy. We think he can help this team. So 10 days, a couple 10 days like that. And then, man, you scored 19 in your second NBA game.
Yep.
How do you have I'm trying to think of a nice euphemism because I don't cuss on my channel. How do you have the cojones to put up that many FGAs as a undrafted rookie in your second game on a 10-day contract? You had to put the ball up a couple times. You had the green light. You didn't worry about that? Or what was that like? Tell me about that game.
No, I mean, my mindset really wasn't, and this has been my whole mindset throughout my career. Is like I've never been worried about who's around me or what's going on. It's just like, hey, I'm just trying to find a way to win. I've always been about winning, and whatever way I can do that, whether that's offensively, defensively, whatever, diving on the floor, whatever. I'm trying to win the game. So I think I subbed in like late, and we were already getting blown out. We were playing the Houston Rockets, and I'm like, look, I'm gonna just find a way. I'm gonna just keep going. I knocked one shot down, then knocked down another shot. And I think I got a tip slam, and it really it exploded the crowd. So like, all right, let's get it going now. So that kind of got me going too. And I was like, and if you go back and watch that game, I was dead tired because like people don't realize like the G League speed of the game and then the NBA speed of the game is like two totally different speeds. Like teams play pretty fast in the G League, but they don't play as fast as NBA. Like teams are literally trying to get the ball across the court at 21, which, shot clock is 24. They're trying to score the ball with 19, 20 on the clock. So teams are trying to score the ball really fast. Like nobody's like trying to, all right, we're going to play this clock out. We're going to milk it all the way down to 24. Like, no, teams are trying to score the ball. They're trying to get as many shots as they can. The best shot possible. Let's do it. Let's get up there and go. So just to see that speed and really like be a part of it. Because I tell a lot of young guys that I see and mentor, you can't get ready or prepared for NBA basketball. Like you have to play NBA basketball to be ready for it because it's nothing that you can
trial by fire, man.
You can't simulate that. You can't simulate that because the speed isn't the same. Like guys are going to jog or walk or whatever the case may be in a pickup game. The NBA game, like dudes are like, hey, people on TV, they're like, oh man, they're not playing hard enough. Like come sit courtside of the game. Like you'll really see how hard guys are playing.
First of all, I don't think people who are watching from home that have never played against NBA play. I've had the privilege of getting my butt handed to me by you and a couple other NBA players. We played lots of pickup, with Marcus and Garrett and other guys, So I've seen it firsthand, right? I was still the guy standing in the corner, clapping because I was open, right? You're open for a reason.
Yeah.
But like the people that watch on TV, I don't think they realize like the average person out there is a gigantic human being. Like you're a little bitty dude in the NBA, and you're not a little bitty dude as a citizen walking down the streets. I mean, these guys are gigantic, man, and not just gigantic, but long. I used to play point guard, and I'm 6'4". And when I had like 6'6", 6'6", 6'7" guys, long arms guarding me, it drove me bananas. I just turned my back and tried to usher the ball up the court and get it to the wing and do my thing and get off that ball quick, man. It's a whole different deal for sure. And that's just with one or two of you guys on the court. I can't imagine a court full of 10 NBA guys. So you make all NBA, you make all rookie second team as an undrafted player, which has never happened in the history of the Knicks organization. That's fantastic. It just doesn't happen. It probably hadn't happened since, if I had to guess. Your head's spinning. So in 2015, though, all hell breaks loose, right? And so you go nuts. You catch a heater, and you've got game after game after game where you're on fire, man. You're just feeling it. You're in the zone, and everybody's familiar with Linsanity. This was like Langsanity, right? Yeah. So I'm texting Pixley. I'm calling Pixley. I'm like, bro, he did it again. I was like, he did it again. He's in the zone. Are you watching this? He's like, man, he's in it. And so we were going back and forth about that. What was that stretch like where you were like, I mean, for a brief time there, Lang, you were like the alpha, right? Yeah. I mean, you were getting them up and you were shooting a crazy percentage. What was that like?
No, it was like you said, like I was just in the moment. Like I really didn't know what I was doing. I just was playing, like, just trying to help us win. And and I remember like my first 3 games, like I was like, all right, you know, I scored 7 the first game, 19 the second game. I forgot what I scored the third game, but then I'm like, all right, let's see what happens this fourth game. And then like they come to me, like Coach Fisher, he's like, yo, you gonna start this fourth game? I'm like, start? Like what? Like what are you talking about? He's like, yeah, you gonna start? I'm like,
check. There's a check on the bucket list.
What are you talking? I'm like, I'm just getting. No, he's like, no, like you playing well. Like we need you. Like just go out there and just play. Like and he like really was like a huge like benefit for me because he just finished playing. Like his career had just finished, and so he was always in my ear. Like if he saw, hey, look, I think you could attack right here. Like try to get to the basket a couple times, or hey, like I think you can find ways to pick your spots. He always was like in my corner, like just trying to help me, you know, along the way. And then I think like middle way of the season, like Melo had got hurt, and so you know him, Tim Hardaway, like those guys were like, you know, those are like my guys right there. Those like two big brothers, and they just were in my ear like, yo, like you know, just keep going, like you know, no matter what's going on, like you know, just keep going and tell me different things to you know. Spots to pick and different things like that. So it was really dope. It was really dope to have them right there.
Learning by doing, there's just no replacement for it, especially when you got guys like that who've been there and done it. You know, having them sit on the sidelines and coach you and talk through stuff like that. That'd be a pretty cool experience, man. And then the Garden is like, I mean, it's the Garden, man. You're playing in the freaking Garden, man. I mean, that's nuts, man. So, what's going on? What's going on back there? I know that sound. I know that sound.
Yeah, I'm almost done.
All right, so let's keep moving. I wanted to ask you a couple questions about sneakers and how sneakers are similar to basketball cards, the basketball card channel. So let's talk a little bit about that. You know, tell me about your sneaker collecting, where it started, when it started, how it's evolved, and where you're at now. Just kind of give us a general idea, because I would consider you a sneakerhead, right? I mean, that's what we call
for sure. Yeah,
people who collect shoes. How many pairs of shoes do you have, first of
all? So I don't even know the number now. It's been a while since I've counted all of them, but I'll probably say about. It's tough to say. Probably about 4,000 shoes now.
4,000.
4,000. Yeah.
How many feet you have? You just have 2 feet.
Hey, look. I wear a new pair of shoes every single day, so I try to wear them. I try to wear them, but like that's what I was saying earlier. Like I think it's probably time. Like I've collected everything I needed to. Now it's time to start dishing them out. So
yeah, that's pretty cool. Well, I was a sneakerhead for a brief time period, and then around 2016, I decided to convert my sneaker collection into cards, and that's where my world just kind of changed, and I kind of got into this life, and so. I can kind of speak the language, but it's like taking Spanish in high school. So I know a little bit to be able to talk to you a little bit intelligently about it, but I could never get on your level as far as sneakers go. But so what's your favorite pair? You got one pair that stands out amongst all others, or is it tough to pick one?
No. I have my favorite of all time is the He Got Game 13s. Those are my favorites of all time. Like it's a crazy story. My mom threw them away when I was a little kid, and when I was like college, when I was in college, I got a pair back. Like I was like, all right, this is my size. I'm gonna hold on to these for dear life, and I still had them to this day. Like I got them freshman year, and I've kept them clean. Like I wore them a number of times, and they still look brand new. So that's number one of number one. Like no matter what other shoe I collect, that's number one.
What was the most comfortable shoe you ever wore in an NBA game? Did you have a go-to pair or a go-to brand? I mean, you were sponsored?
Yeah, I was sponsored by Nike for 4 years. Within 4 years. The most comfortable I'd probably say like the Kobe 5s. Kobe 5s or 6s were probably the most comfortable, but hey, now I got my own shoe now, so hey.
Well, I know we're gonna get to that.
What can I say?
I know. Well, you got no choice, right? We're gonna talk about it at the end, but those Kobe 5s and 6s, I think those are the most worn shoes in the NBA right now.
Yeah, for sure. They're definitely up there with most worn shoes.
I love those shoes, man. I had those Bruce Lees, those yellow and black.
Yeah.
God. They even made me look fast, man. Did you ever collect basketball cards as a kid? Did you ever touch basketball cards?
I think I collected baseball cards back in the day. Like I had a couple baseball cards, like King Griffin, and nothing crazy. But like I always collected baseball cards because so my dad is actually named after one of like the famous baseball players, Larry Doby,
Yeah.
from the Negro League. So
Yep.
I was like, oh, this is dope to really see, how it's evolved and how the card game is really like taking off.
It is absolutely taking off. I can attest to that. You've signed cards. I know you've signed cards. I'm gonna pull one up over here on the screen. I got screen share here, so let's pull this up. Look at this. I'm gonna show you something. First of all, what do you think your most expensive card is? I've got a data pricing tool, so I can tell you the most expensive Langston Galloway card that's ever been bought or sold. What do you think it is?
I probably would say it's either in Detroit or New Orleans. Like that's probably because they had my jersey on there. Yeah, yep.
It's this, and
Yeah,
that's what's beautiful
Detroit.
about it. It's a sneaker spotlight card. So you may not know this, right? You're a sneakerhead, so you're going to recognize the shoes you're wearing, obviously.
Right.
This set right here, this is an insert set from a product not too long ago that is super, super highly sought after. Super highly sought after.
Wow.
So your most expensive card ever sold is that card right here. I got to pull it up on the screen. It's that card right there.
Dang. That's dope.
$275, Langston. Somebody paid for that card right there.
That's not bad. That's not bad.
Yeah, that's not bad. That when those things hit, it created this this sort of hybrid blend amongst sneakerheads and card collectors, and a lot of people have kind of transitioned back and forth from sneakers to cards to sneakers, and there's still a little bit of an overlap there. And so this set right here, it was a brilliant, genius idea. It gave sneakerheads something to really latch onto in the hobby. And so this insert set caught fire. There's a bunch of other studs in there. Dame Lillard's in there, and a bunch of other really big time players are in there. But that's your most valuable card. And I was gonna have Garrett on the show, and I can't do this with Garrett because I don't want to tell him what his most valuable card is. It's only a fraction of yours, so you got that on him. So next time you see him, you can tell him you got him beat there. So we see these pictures of like hundreds of cards, sometimes thousands of cards, and/or stickers laid out in front of players, and they got to sign it, and then they look miserable. Of course, it's just a lot of signing. Yeah. Do you have stories about that? Do you remember the first time you started signing cards? And what's that process like?
That process is hard.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I had a deal with Panini. I don't have one right now, but they sent me. It might have been like 3,000 cards to sign, and it was just blank cards. So I'm like, oh man, like it's like literally like a big old box full of them, and I'm like, oh man. So I'm just like, I'm a rookie. I don't know any better. I'm just like signing. And then probably like halfway through, I'm like, my hand starts cramping up, and I'm like, oh man, like this isn't good. And over time, like you get used to it. Like as a rookie, you're just trying to sign real fast, trying to go. But like you got to pace yourself. You got to put some music in, sign, take your time, get some water here and there. Like you got to make it a whole thing. You can't just go through them. But probably seeing like 3,000, 4,000 at one time. Like
that's nuts.
Yeah, it's a lot of cards to sign, but I appreciate I've had so many kids come up to me nowadays like, oh man, like could you sign this card? And I'm like, I'm appreciative because it means so much. Like somebody asking for your autograph, like that's dope. It's dope. I had a kid recently that come up to me like, yo, like he signed my card when I was at Summer League this past Summer League. I was like, wow, like kids still have my card. It's pretty cool. Yeah,
for sure. You own any of your own cards? You don't have any? I'm gonna have to buy you one if you don't have one. You don't have any of your cards?
Would you stash like one or two?
Okay.
I've never kept them because they always they have a certain amount, and they always say, look, if you don't have all these cards signed and sent back, then
you don't get your check.
Yeah, you're missing a card. Like we got to send us another card. I'm like, oh man. So I've never kept one, but I think one time we lost one, and I was like, I found it, and I was like, all right, we're just gonna keep this on the side. So
yeah, we've seen some pictures of Giannis collecting his own cards. Mike Trout collects his own cards. So it's really cool. It's exciting for us, right? Because we're kind of in this small little world, right? But when we see big time athletes, collecting their cards, it's kind of good to hear. So I'll have to get you some. I'm gonna mail you a couple of cards of your own. If you were gonna buy a basketball card, which player would you buy? It could be any player in history. It doesn't have to be an active player. It could be anybody ever. Which player's card do you think would mean the most to you to have it in your hand?
And they had to play in the NBA or play wherever?
Play wherever.
Okay. I mean, it'd be dope, man, if I had my dad. Like, see, he played in the ABA. And
I didn't know that.
Have one of his cards. Yeah,
wait, who did he play for in the ABA? I used to watch Colonel's games. That's how old I am.
He played with the Nets. What were they? The Brooklyn Nets at the time, I think, or something like that.
I mean, yep, yeah, okay, yeah.
They were like they were up in New York somewhere, but yeah, he played with that team for a little bit before. Like he played with it right before it expanded into the NBA, and then he didn't play anymore. But yeah, that would have been dope to get one of his.
Well, when he was playing, Doc was running through that league, huh? Doc was tearing that league up.
So he told me a story with Doc, right? He was saying that when he was coming through, my dad, he's 6'5", 6'6". I'm only 6'2". He literally told me, he said, I was 6'5", 6'6", playing, 3-4, and Doc was 6'7", playing the 1, and he's like, yeah, I'm not in the right, I'm not in the right situation like this.
Yeah, well, it didn't help that he could jump and sit on the rim either. You know,
right. He could do it.
You're probably 6'11" with the afro, so yeah, that's a problem. Yeah, right. Yeah, I mean, Doc's a true ambassador, and I don't know if you heard this. This news literally came out like 30 minutes before we jumped on here. Mm-hmm. They're retiring number 6 for the NBA forever. Everything you saw it. Yeah,
I saw it. Yeah, I'm trying to think. What number is LeBron in Miami right now? I mean, LA.
I don't know what he is in LA right now, but I think he was 6.
Yeah, well, that's what I thought he was 6, but I don't know if he is 6. Then I'm assuming that he's gonna have to, change numbers. I mean, he wanted to change numbers. He wanted to change to I think to 23, but I think the NBA wouldn't let him because he had so many sales and all that.
Yeah. So you played with Blake Griffin.
Yep.
How funny is he? Is he as funny as I think he is? Because I've seen some funny clips of Blake Griffin. Is he a clown? Like, is he a jokester all the time?
He sneaks up on you. Like, he won't joke with you all the time. Like, he's serious, like court wise, all that.
Yeah.
But like that's like another big bro for me. Like, really, really close with him. Like, if something happens or like he'd be whispering under, and he'd be like, you start laughing and everybody's looking at you like, what's going on? Oh, and he has a really like sense of like knowing when to joke and when not to joke. So man, he's dope, man. Really, really cool dude, man. Down to earth and really, really cool guy.
Is that the franchise you feel the most affiliation with? Was Detroit those years? Is that kind of your?
Probably New York. New York is probably like another franchise where I made like a huge impact. Yeah. Detroit, another huge impact on there. Yeah. So probably those two franchises I made the most. Spent like on the court and off the court, like time. So it's really good.
Yeah. Hardest cover ever at your position. Hardest person you've ever had to check in the league.
Probably Kyrie. Kyrie's probably tough. Toughest I've guarded. Just one-on-one wise, like he's one of the guys where he doesn't call for screens. He kind of throws like he calls screens.
Watch it. He's get out. Just get out of my way.
Like, guy comes to the screen, like he'll like act like he's about to go and he'll back it out, and then all right, I'm about to go one-on-one. Like he doesn't need the screen at any time. Like he just goes. So probably toughest to guard. Russell is tough. Russ Westbrook is tough, but Kyrie, I'll probably say the
you can't gap. You may be able to gap Russ a little bit. You can't gap Kyrie an inch. You can't gap him at all,
Russ
man.
Is so quick. He's so quick to get downhill. Like that's what's so tough because like you got to beat him to the spot. And if you're not there, it's take off. Like
if he gets shoulder to shoulder, he just leaves, and you're not leaving with him. Toughest, flip it around. Toughest defender you've ever faced. Anybody that just drove you nuts. Anybody that you just kind of felt, this is probably not a good matchup. Let me swing this.
I'm trying to think. I mean, I've had Kawhi guard me a couple of times. Like he's tough, physical, but like his length. I was
about to say.
Yeah, his length bothers you. I haven't really had like much. Like it's crazy to say this, but like when I've had the ball and like I've scored, like there hadn't been like one guy where I'm like, oh man, like I really got to pick it up. I can get rid of it. Pat Bev, pesty, real pesty. Like he's just around you, like just bumping you, trying to make you, make a mistake, like all that. So I probably say like Kawhi, or like Pat Bev, like those two guys, like just right underneath you all the time, right underneath you.
Yeah. What? So I would classify you as a shooter, right? I used to consider myself a shooter, but you're obviously on a whole nother level. So you're a shooter. So we're gonna ask some shooter questions. Mm-hmm. Best shooter you've ever played with, on the same roster with?
Man, I'd probably say Melo, to be honest with you, man. Melo, man, he shoots the cover off the ball. Like it's crazy. Yeah. Probably like him. I mean, I was on the Warriors for preseason last year and just seeing Steph shoot it. Him and Clay, like it's crazy. Like
total different level.
Like they literally like just like the shots that you see him make, like those tough shots. he practices those shots.
Yeah.
Those like he'll be up there and all of a sudden you're like, hey, yeah, he did that in the game last year. Wow. Yeah, okay. All right. So yeah, he really practices those shots. So
look, I get in an argument with my son because Seth shoots a better percentage than Steph. And I try to explain to my son, I said, Steph is taking shots.
Yeah.
Seth couldn't get off. He couldn't even attempt the shot. And that's the percentage that Steph Curry's shooting. So the types of shots he takes and the types of shots really, just generally speaking, dudes in the NBA are taking now off the dribble. Those shots weren't permitted about 15 years ago. Like, you weren't even allowed to take them, you know?
That's the thing that's what's so crazy about his career. Like, he's gone from the beginning of his, probably the first 7 years, like, there was no, like, hey, I'm going to throw it up there and let it go in. But, like, now it's like, the last, 6 years, like, he's done, the impossible, like, shots that you wouldn't even think that he would make, he makes.
It's funny. He's literally, Lang, I think he's eliminated the argument of who the greatest shooter of all time is. Like, it's you know what I'm saying? Like, when people argue LeBron versus Jordan or the best dunker of all time or the best rebounder of all time, people don't really argue best three-point shooter of all time. I don't think anybody can really make an argument, can they?
Yeah, it's tough. It's tough to stop because his confidence is through the roof.
Let's go. Leave.
Yeah. Favorite coach you ever played for? If you're not comfortable answering that, you can list a couple, but including assistant coaches. Who's the coach that you connected with the most in the NBA in all your time there?
Man, it's a lot of good ones. Dwayne Casey was good. Derek Fisher was good. I was really tight with a couple assistants. Sean, I forgot Sean's last name. Sean Micah in Detroit. Man, I've had a number of good coaches like that have really pushed me and helped my career, mold me, and different things like that, stuff I could work on. So I give a lot of kudos to a lot of coaches that have been there.
Best friend or best couple friends in the NBA.
Thad Young, really close with him. Tobias Harris, Derrick Rose, Blake.
Yeah.
Trying to think who else. All the Baton Rouge guys, like those are all my guys.
Yeah.
Baton Rouge and New Orleans guys. Alfred, Greg Monroe. I mean, the list goes on and on. From DJ Augustine, another good guy, another really good guy. It's a lot of guys I'm really close with. Like if anything, like, doomsday happened tomorrow, and I needed something, like they would look out. So for sure.
Yeah, that's cool. That's cool.
Another good
guy. So look, this is a card collecting channel. So as card collectors, we like to prospect, right? We like to grab the next big thing, right? We want to find the next Giannis, right? There may not be another one of those, but we like to find the rags to riches stories, guys that are just coming up that nobody knows about that are going to explode. Is there any young guys, like super young guys that you played with the past 2 or 3 years that are kind of off the radar?
You said off the radar guys?
Yeah, like off the radar, young guys, like 22, 21 years old that you think can take a next step and become NBA All-Stars. And I'm not talking about Luka and guys like that. We know them. Like off the radar guys that you played with that have you've really surprised you and been like, hey man, this guy can do a lot more than he's showing.
I'm trying to think guys that I've been around. I'd probably say that they got a young kid from Baton Rouge. He's not from Baton Rouge. He played at LSU. Cam Thomas, man. Really, really strong guard. He's gonna have a really, really, really great career. Trying to think who else that I played alongside. Trying to think who else. Kid Malachi Richardson from Toronto. Really, really. Really explosive kid. And he's a guard from Toronto.
Yeah. From Syracuse.
Really. Yeah. I mean, Malachi Flynn. I'm sorry. Malachi Flynn.
Oh, yeah. No, he can play. Yeah, he reminds me, he's the next one, right? So you got Lowry, and then you got Van Vliet, and now you got Malachi coming behind him. They get these little guards that can play the point, and they can really play. Yeah.
Absolutely.
I like him. I like his game.
Yeah, he's really, really good one. I can see a lot of potential in him. And then just the rookie class. Everybody they pinpoint the top guys, but then it's always the guys that go under the radar. So I'm excited to see this upcoming rookie class and see what's going on with them. So.
Yeah, for sure. Basketball hero growing up. You can't count your dad. You can't count your dad, and you can't count Jordan.
Yeah, nah. I mean, I'm big Jordan fan. I'd probably say AI. AI, being like half Louisiana, half Philly, like AI was like everything to me. Like his heart, his determination, like, people just like they always like misconstrued it, what he was all about. Like I feel like he was like one of the, pound for pound, like best guards that ever came through. So yeah, nah, I always like just love the determination and everything that he stood for. So
Yeah, pound for pound, he's a problem, man. What do you think the most expensive Allen Iverson card ever sold was?
I'd probably say like either 500,000 and up. Gotta be.
It's this one right here, but it's a trick question because it's a logo man. Have you ever heard of a logo man card? So
Yeah.
look, I'm gonna show you. So that's a logo man card, right? So you got AI,
Yep.
you got Kobe, and you got Steph Marbury, right? So three legends right there. And then they take a little logo patch out of their jersey, right? That's $146,000. So that's the most expensive one that I've got pulled up here. So that's a big one.
That's
a big one.
I thought it'd be way more. I mean, just from those, especially those three. Like, but hey, I guess people, it just depends on what you're looking for and what you're trying to get.
That's right. That's right. Best basketball movie of all time. We're almost done. I'm going to talk about this best basketball movie of all time because I did a podcast the other day and it was a heated debate, man. What is your number one basketball movie of all time?
So it's just tough because my wife and I's favorite one that we love is Love and Basketball, but it's tough. It really is tough because they got so many really good basketball movies.
You do.
You know what I'm gonna go with because this probably like you probably haven't heard this one. I mean, I don't know who was on the last one that talked about this. I'm gonna go Six Man. Six Man is my favorite one.
Never seen it.
You never seen Six Man?
No. What is it about?
Six Man when the it's Marlon Wayans and the other, I forgot the other dude that's the side character that basically like he gets hurt. Like they're both playing to win a championship. Him and his brother end up like going up to dunk it, falls off the rim, and then he falls and like I think either he ends up dying or something. Like he ends up
wait. You're talking about Above the Rim.
No, that's not Above the Rim. Above the Rim is the white man can't. I mean, not that's what you call it. That's Tupac in them.
Yeah. Well, Wayans is in that too. Marlon Wayans is in that one too. And the guy dunks it and falls off the building.
He is in that one, but no, not that one. It's Six Man. I think.
Okay, I gotta check it out. What about Hoop Dreams? Have you ever seen Hoop Dreams? You might be too young.
I think I've seen Hoop Dreams.
You gotta see Hoop Dreams if you haven't seen it.
I think I have seen Hoop Dreams. Yeah. Let me see. Let me make sure it's Six Man because I don't want to be wrong, but I think it's Six Man.
We'll edit it out if you're wrong.
Yeah, it's Six Man. Yeah,
I gotta go see it then. Well, I got another movie I gotta see.
Six Man. Yeah, Six Man. Yeah, it's a really good one. I remember like almost crying with that one. That was a good one.
Okay, I need to see it then. All right, so tell me about Ethics, the brand. Tell me all about it. I'm going to pull it up on the screen here and screen share so everybody's watching can see it.
Yep.
And first of all, before I forget, so this is Langston's Instagram page. We're big in Instagram, right? And card collecting. Instagram's kind of our main place where we kind of social network. So Lang Galloway and then the number 10 is Langston's Instagram page. And then I've got this pulled up. This is another Instagram page for Langston's clothing and shoe line, right?
Yep.
All right, tell us a little bit about it, man.
Yep, Ethics the brand. So we have been in existence for about the last 6 months, 7 months. And we're building a lot of momentum right now with being able to correlate with the grassroots basketball, high school, AAU programs. We're working on like a lot of tiers when it comes to college basketball, trying to move over to that realm, HBCUs on those type of scales, guys that, and we compare this to like my story. So like we don't want to embody the whole story, but like some of the story, like we want to cherish the underdog. Like that's what the brand is all about. Underdogs, guys and females that have been through the ringer and like haven't had a fair shake, but they continue to grind, continue to hustle, and they've gotten to whatever they've wanted to achieve in their lives. So that's why we've really embodied like trying to focus in on, like I said, the grassroots side of things, working on the HBCU side of things. That's probably what's next. And then women's basketball. Like those are three main areas that we want to really focus in on and grow. So we're loving the journey that we're on. It's just the beginning. We got another colorway, so be on the lookout. September, beginning of September-ish.
Okay.
The fourth colorway will be dropping, and I think that'll be probably the most hyped up colorway that'll be dropping. So yeah, I'm excited to see the outcome and see where we take this thing. We're just getting started, like I said.
Okay. And they're called, these are the 3 colorways that are out right now. These are called the LG ones. Is that what they're called?
LG ones, yep. All
Yeah.
LG ones. You have the black pear, frozen corals, white pears, the pistachios, and the third colorway is the Vision melons. So those are 3 colorways right now. And then this fourth colorway it'll be called Superhero Gumbo. So that'll be
Love it.
I'm gonna have a story for that. My son, he actually the one that came up with the colorway. So I'm excited for him to share his little story about it.
Well, it's a family affair. Tell me about your business partner. We finally get to talk about your business partner. I wasn't going to let you get off without talking about it. She'd have gotten mad at me.
Yeah. No, that's everything. Like, she really is the face. She is the brand. She runs the day-to-day operations. Like, I'm just one of the sponsor athletes. That's all I am with Ethics. I am the co-founder, but I don't want to have anything to go without her, pushing the engine. She is the engine. She makes the day-to-day go, and she makes this whole thing go. So without her, my wife Sabrina Galloway, she is everything. And she's really pushed our company to new heights, and I think that the next step is really going to showcase.
Yeah.
Go ask mama. Go ask mama.
No, I need to go pee.
All right. Hold on.
All right, I'm gonna let you go. Look, strength in numbers, man. You got a good one, so congrats on that for sure. Your family sounds precious, man. I'm happy to have you on the show. I really appreciate your time. I know you got a lot going on, and stay in touch, man. I'm gonna reach out to you soon, and good luck in the next coming months. I know you're trying to find a gig.
Appreciate it. Yeah, I'll be with Team USA, so please tune in. 19th through the 30th. I have 2 games, so tune in.
Deal. You better win them. USA wins every game.
That's right. We'll take care of
All right. Thanks, Lang. All right, brother. All right, guys. One of my old friends, Langston Galloway, it still brings me to tears when guys like that call me coach. Like, if he sees me, he calls me coach, right? Because it brings back memories of when I used to actually coach a little bit of basketball. But Langston's a fantastic human being, a fantastic basketball player. He's made Baton Rouge proud, and he's made the great state of Louisiana proud. So it's a pleasure to have him on the channel. If you guys get a chance, go check out his new clothing line, Ethics, the brand. They are pretty cool, and it's a company that's just in its infancy that just started in January. So give it a look. But hopefully you guys enjoyed the brief interview with Langston. He's the first NBA player to join me on the channel, but he won't be the last, I promise. Got a couple more lined up. So stay tuned. And as always, keep collecting, stay positive in the hobby, and peace.